position 6. So that was a pretty entertaining third heat. What have we got for the final? Matthew Davies completely misses the start. Justin Herbert leads through the first chicane on lap number 1. Problems there for John Van Bommel again in the 62.
Yeah, like I said, those boys have been doing double duty, so at least he's got one class right so far this weekend.
Daniel Dufty back there as well. We saw him go off in heat number 3 in the 97, running a borrowed kart this weekend in Yamaha lights. Out in front, it's Justin Herbert, our onboard camera kart, chased by the 48 of Matthew Buffton. Matthew Davies back there in third.
I think one to keep an eye on will be young David Mazzaris from Tauranga. If we get a glimpse of him, he's had to come off the back, and he's showed some good pace this morning.
Yeah, so 3 of the young guns starting off the back of this final for the Yamaha New Zealand Yamaha light class. And Yamaha New Zealand have actually put up one of their KT100 Yamahas as a prize over the weekend for all of the entrants here at the Castrol Tauranga Street Sprint. Just a brief pause there while we go back to a restart for an incident mid-race.
Oh, big move there into the first chicane.
That was the 6 of Matthew Wallace. Justin Herbert still your race leader. Matthew Buffton in second. And John Van Bommel, he's creeped his way up into the top 6 after that early off. And Daniel Dufty's up there as well in the 97. And man, David Mazzaris is right in the mix as well.
You come up to 5th, young David, so he's doing a great job from the back.
Down onto Glasgow Road. Justin Herbert Buffton doing a good job staying with the race leader here. Oh, Herbert got a fair bit of the curbs through that bottom chicane.
Yeah, give it the big rev over the curb, but no, he's doing well.
Beautifully presented kart as well, Justin Herbert. Current 3NZ, that's the yellow number 3 number plate on the kart. Finished 3rd at the New Zealand titles earlier this year. Runs a little bit wide. Buffton's right with him here, trying to pressure Herbert into a mistake. Mazzaris runs up over the curbs.
He's trying hard, young David. I think you see he's still in 5th there.
John Van Bommel is right ahead of him in 4th, and all of these drivers started off the back. And I think Daniel Dufty's just up ahead of them in the 97. So John Van Bommel and Daniel Dufty looking for another podium this weekend. They've both featured on the podium in the Fulton Hogan Rotax light class. This is the final of the Yamaha New Zealand Yamaha lights. Looking at the lap times, fastest lap of the race of 55.2 from John Van Bommel, and he's done that predominantly in traffic. It's an average lap speed of 71.5 kilometres an hour. There's been a big resurgence in Yamaha racing over the last 3 to 4 years, Tony, around New Zealand.
Yeah, there has been. Ever since Kart Sport New Zealand redefined the rules and then took clutches out of it, you've seen a massive embrace by everyone, and Yamaha New Zealand certainly come on board as well.
6 Matthew Wallace in the CRG chassis, chased by Jason Catley. Jason's dad, Dave, had a lot to do with the organising of this fantastic event in Tauranga.
Jason's been a top bayer, plenty local, does very well at top half level and bits and pieces. Hasn't been doing a whole lot of racing lately, so it's good to see him back out there.
Makes a nice pass on the 6.24 in the mix as well. That's Brad Still. He's forcing the issue with Catley. Picks up the position down at that bottom chicane.
Yeah, good move there.
95 Matthew Davies off the back of that group. Justin Herbert still your race leader, but Daniel Dufty, John Van Bommel and David Mazzaris are making progress towards the front of this field.
Got a good mix-up of karts here. You've got a red speed in front there, Arrow running behind that, CRG, and I think the 4th brand there was.
It's the CRG of Justin Herbert with the race lead, and look who's second. It's Daniel Dufty. 3rd is John Van Bommel. So they've worked their way from the tail of the field. They've got ahead of Matthew Buffton. David Mazzaris back there in the 5th position. Some of the best young up-and-coming karters in New Zealand on show at Tauranga for the Castrol Street Sprint and the Yamaha New Zealand Yamaha light class.
Yeah, young Daniel's obviously getting amongst it. Look at the state of his nose cone and the borrowed kart. This is a good little drive.
The tables are turned in this battle as John Van Bommel had a look, a little bit of contact there. I think he got the back of Daniel's kart and the curb. Look how much momentum that's cost the 62. Buffton's going to line him up on the inside up the hill. They're side by side.
Oh, this is fantastic. These boys are still giving each other room at the same time, but still trying really hard.
John Van Bommel head down. He's got to get the momentum built up, and if you do lose momentum, it probably takes the better part of a lap to really get it back on the pace.
It does, because we're not dealing with a flat circuit. We've got a bit of undulation as they rocket down the hill here, then we've got to climb back up onto Cameron Road on the other side. So momentum, like you said, Jamie, is a huge thing here.
So there's the race leader, Justin Herbert. Gap back to second, Daniel Dufty. The blue number 62, John Van Bommel in third. Then it's Buffton, David Mazaris. Mazaris with a DNF in heat number 3. Had to start from the back of the field in the final of Yamaha Lights.
Most of these boys are driven pretty hard here off the back, like you said, Jamie, and it's all starting to level out a bit now. You know, the tyre temperatures have come up, the karts are starting to slip around a little bit, so certainly plenty of attitude in the karts now.
John Van Bommel and Daniel Dufty, they'll be starting to feel it because they've done double duty this weekend. I think between them, they've probably raced in about 20 events.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's only over 2 days, so they've done a great job.
They scream down Elizabeth Street. Probably speeds approaching 115 to 120 kilometres an hour with these KT100 Yamahas, producing about 17 horsepower.
Yep, that's right. Like we see the difference between the JR and the junior Yamaha. This is the same spec as what the rest of the juniors and seniors use.
David Mazaris was looking for fourth, and we got a battle for the lead. Daniel Dufty's right with Herbert. Herbert got a great drive, though, off that chicane up the hill as Daniel Dufty, John Van Bommel. There's the celebration. Justin Herbert victorious in Yamaha Lights. So Justin Herbert with the win, just 0.3 of a second ahead of Daniel Dufty. John Van Bommel third. Both of those drivers with 2 podiums for the weekend. Matthew Buffton in fourth.
Just staying out in front and being able to, punch in consistent laps was very difficult with the, the type of circuit that we're on. And the guys behind us, obviously, they had somebody to chase. And the pressure was definitely on the last couple of laps.
Starting from last, we sort of got back up to second. Got on Justin in the last lap, but he sort of covered his line, which is good to do.
I pushed real hard trying to get there and cook the tyres and everything, and made him a mistake down the bottom chicane where I ran at the back of Daniel, just my nose came up, so I lost a bit of ground, but had the pace there and just needed a bit more pass.